You know what? I shouldn't start this one off with the peace greeting, and you about to hear why. Take a listen at this country FBS. This country this how do I say it? Shuntry cuck sure bit. Yeah. How about that? Listen to this ignorant shit right here.
I don't like light skinned men, however, you are very attractive.
Oh, that's not the ignorance.
Come on, yeah.
If it's light, it ain't right. But you're cute.
Now, is he someone that's your type?
No.
Okay, and why not?
I like my skin tone darker.
So, why'd you end up having his villain?
Because he's more on the lighter side.
Okay. Yellow guy's really not my go-to.
I knew it.
Yeah. But, and now, is he someone that's your type?
You're a nice gentleman, but probably not.
And why not?
I just really don't like light skin like that.
Because I have
It's not light skin, is it?
Oh, God. Don't bring this back, please.
We can shine together. We
I
can shine.
do believe in contrast. I do.
But the quiet part that's not being said out loud
This is the
that
ignorance.
every time you insult a light-skinned man, you are therefore insulting a dark-skinned woman because you can't have one without the other. Let me explain.
Keep going. Y'all already know what she's missing in this. And by the way, the name of her channel is LBRY Says Stuff. Don't go to the channel to listen. Don't do
This
that.
topic has kind of been weighing heavy on my mind for a while, and it's something I wanted to talk about. And I know my background is different, and I look a mess. I don't know. A lot of things are moving around right now, but I still wanted to be able to post a video this week. And so this video is going to be more of like a rant-style video on
As
this
opposed
topic.
to something
and very
more
quickly,
academic,
before we
of
get
course.
into it, I want to say thank you guys so much for getting me to 9,000 subscribers. It genuinely means the world to me. Okay,
9,000. Now, you all are 5,100 in my channel subscribers. She got 9,000. This tells you right there what the majority wants to hear. This is how I know that we're in the mainstream awareness and consciousness, but we are not necessarily the superior ideology in terms of population. We could be right, but this tells you how human beings are. The right idea is usually the one that's the least popular. And it ain't even got to be because reality always sucks. It's not like that. It's just that lies are always designed to cater. So when something always caters to what you would like to believe, chances are it's a dot-gam furthermucking lie.
of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed, so please subscribe so we can get to that 10K mark. Okay?
But she has to ask for this, though.
Have y'all noticed anytime
You subscribe without me asking.
insult a light-skinned man, it typically falls somewhere along the lines of him being effeminate, him being soft, him, lacking masculinity. But the quiet part that's not being said out loud is that every time you insult a light-skinned man, you are therefore insulting a dark-skinned woman because you can't have one without the other. I'm not sure if you guys have seen.
Now you see what's missing in this case. It's not compassion that's missing. It's compassion for the men. She's sitting up and telling you, you shouldn't be insulting light-skinned men, but she's not saying you shouldn't insult light-skinned men because it's an involuntary trait anyway, and it's not something to insult or compliment. She's saying don't do it because the proximity and the result is that you're turning around and insulting darker-skinned women too. That's where she starts to have problems. That's what it is. F the man. And so it can sound on the surface like she's launching a defense of the men. And it would be nice if she was ideologically and morally speaking. But you can hear she don't feel a guck about you or me, or she don't feel a guck about nothing and no one. Except for the women, dark-skinned women. And so you and I don't really want to go out insulting or complimenting women based on their shade, especially insulting. And most of us just don't really want to do that. We're just not going to sit up here and dwell on bigging up and glorifying darker skinned women because they got insecurities. And we're right for not wanting to do that because of their insecurities, because they're insecurities. It's not okay for grown men, or little boys for that matter, to cater to the insecurities of girls or grown women simply for one reason. I actually believe that men and women are morally equal, and I believe that women are just as capable of being adults as men are forced to be. Therefore, no, it's not okay to keep walking around with all these feather-mucking insecurities. If a woman tells you, get used to it, women are insecure creatures, you can say to her, get used to it, the world does not cater to insecurities, it exploits them. So why do you remain so insecure and then want to turn around and cause insecurity in men, starting with when they're boys in their formative years? And then want to tell us we just got to deal with your insecurities. For the nuck, we don't. This is why I keep telling you guys, men do not know and understand game. Because women are the ones who have the game, not men. They get to remain insecure, little girls, immature, childish AF. They get to have stuffed animals on their feather-mucking beds when they are in their 30s and their 40s, and you are trained to think that this ignorant BS is cute and diminutive. And if two women decide that they want to make out, you're supposed to think, oh, that's hot, I wish I could join in. They got it. That's game right there. They got us thinking that stuff as a part of our masculinity. Ninja. That's game if they can manipulate men to think that. You pursue them. You ask them to marry you. You pay their bills. You give them a good deal in a marriage that's a bad deal for you. And then they turn around and say, well, we die earlier when we're married because of the stuff we got to do. You mean the stuff they demand to do anyway? Is that what you mean? Mess around and not give a woman a child. The same children she will complain about raising for you, she will complain that you never gave her if you don't impregnate her. The same marriage for which you must ask her and convince her, she will complain if no one asks. But getting back to this topic at hand, LBRY says stuff, you can see now how you don't matter. She ain't mentioning dark-skinned men anyway. And we already know in the black community, if you are a man, you're gonna go through mess. If you're a woman, you're gonna go through mess. Because the black women will also persecute each other for anything to do with morality or sense or responsibility. They will do this. We watched it happen. So, screw the darker skinned men and what they go through. Now, the video is not about that, but she doesn't say, well, this isn't to ignore it, this is just a separate video. She doesn't even say that. No, it's just, don't insult light-skinned men, not because it don't make no fucking sense, but because it hurts dark-skinned women too. You're saying that light-skinned men are soft, you're gonna say that dark-skinned women are masculine and manly. Then she goes, you know what, here's some more of this stuff.
You know, the way people talk about light-skinned men on the internet, whether it's through jokes, through memes, or maybe like through dating shows. I see a lot of clips from Pop the Balloon where if a light-skinned man comes out, more than likely a lot of the women, even if they're light-skinned themselves, are going to pop because they don't prefer light-skinned men or they prefer darker-skinned men, right? It's a very common joke. It's a very common...
The Pop the Balloon show, you know, the humiliation ritual that has been slated for black men anyway for being black, regardless of their shade. It's just that if you come out and you're light-skinned and you're a man, then the women know. The women socially understand they're supposed to pop their balloons because he's light-skinned. The women understand that. You think no women like light-skinned men? Edward Allen Anderson has talked about how that's not really the case. I've never sat up and told you that they just all don't like light-skinned men as soon as they see us. What I've told you before is that they are socially influenced through the hive mind, about which spoke Dr. T. Hassan Johnson by name, which I first heard called such by Don Calypso. Now, I'm not saying that Don Calypso was the first one I heard to talk about the concept. He's the first one I heard call it the hive mind. That's what I'm saying. And Dr. Tiger Hassan Johnson, whom I invite to return to Islam, of course, has called it on his channel by name, the hive mind. Like they understand, they know what they're supposed to do. Just for the sake of making things difficult on black men. The white bitch got it too. That's why I'm calling it a word bitch. You think I just walk down the street and call every white woman I see white bitch? No, you got to do some ignorant crap for me to call you that. I use spoonerisms for other curse words, not that one. But the actual bitch does that to her man. They know they are supposed to come down hard on their men too. It's just that they don't necessarily make it about him being white until he's contrasted to a man of another race. That's how that is. Somebody one time said to me, hey, yo, black, you can't watch nasty movies. No, you're right, I can't. Okay, well, look, check this out. I'm going to send you a clip, a sound clip. Sound clip, are you allowed to hear it? I said, in a normal situation, no, I'm not allowed to hear it. This is probably over a year ago someone sent it. Are you allowed to hear it normally? I wrote back, I'm not in a normal situation, no. Is there some serious information in this that's viable? I think the writer to me was a guy. He said, all right, I'm just going to let you hear the part that you need to know, plus like another second or so you know that I didn't lie to you about the context of this woman saying this stuff. Don't judge me. Everybody ain't Muslim. Yeah, I watch dirty movies. I'm like, no, I judge, bro, because you just said it. I'm supposed to. It's not personal. It's just I judge myself. But go ahead and send whatever the valuable information is. And that was why I told you that there are white chicks who will sit up and say dumb stuff like white guys shouldn't be allowed to come. Now that's their business. I'm not here to fight for white men. Don't love them and I don't hate them as a collective. They ain't shit as a collective. They're an uncivilization and not a civilization. I'll tell you that straight away. But individually speaking, I let them determine who they're going to be. A white guy can be a friend or an enemy on an individual level, but he's going to take time to show me which one. Just like anybody else. Now, what's going to happen here is this. This chick said this stuff. And the way she said it, you know what? Fact that she said, you know, she was a white girl that said it. You could hear the whiteness in her. I mean, hell, I could damn near smell the mayonnaise on her breath. Wait, that didn't sound right considering the context of the movie she was in. My bad. I actually meant like a mayonnaise sandwich. I actually meant that, but damn. I just realized, yeah, that sounded pretty bad. Anyway, yeah, she was, that's what she said. It was a movie. It's sensationalized. But who the hell thought that would be relevant enough to put into a form of nasty, dirty entertainment? So what I'm telling you is that this is something that goes on for the most part. The hive mind is real in the West. It tells women how to treat their natural men, how to mistreat. Because there is a Western hive mind that tells them to mistreat their natural men. And sisters done been had it. Sisters been having it since the 80s. I don't know when the Latinas developed it. When did the white chick develop it? I don't sit up and tell you no other woman has it. I'm here to tell you that I know sisters had it for a long time. They've been bragging about that since the days of Malcolm X because he wrote about it in his autobiography. He took issue with the way that they bragged about telling that chump to get lost. That's why I'm going to dig in to sisters when they do this. The hive mind tells these women on this humiliation ritual balloon popping show when a light-skinned man comes out, pop your balloon. They're embarrassed not to. They don't all look at a light-skinned man and say, ew, yuck, from their gut. They don't all do that. It's not possible. But they know they're supposed to appear as if they do. And the way they can justify getting with a lighter-skinned man in front of their friends is if they can tell their girls at the hair salon, girl, he taking care of my kids by this other man, though. Girl, he my sugar daddy, though. Something that diminutizes him and his value, they have to In order to justify being with a light-skinned man, they have to be able to tell women that they are not treating him the same way they would treat another black man. That is necessary. They cannot socially get away with getting a light-skinned man other than that. How are they going to be able to justify it by saying that they treat him the same way that they would treat a darker skinned man? They can't. They have to tell you that they made that man settle for something that a man of a darker hue wouldn't have to settle for unless that man was of a darker hue, but he was thin and wore glasses and read books and was a dark-skinned Urkel. That's the thing about it. Because both are seen as less masculine. LBRY says stuff is still not capable of thinking about the humanity of the black man of any shade. Not according to this video. Let's hear more.
It's a very common preference also. And for me, these jokes have a couple of issues, right? Number one, when people insult light-skinned men and say that they're feminine, they are soft. Some people may say I'm too woke. I don't like the insult of being feminine or being close to being like acting like a woman. I don't like that insult. I don't ever find it funny, right?
When women insult men, they're actually just insulting themselves. If a man does anything that is deemed stereotypically a female behavior, like they catch an attitude, they complain, they wear bedazzled clothes, I don't know, a woman will go insult that man's manliness by calling him a woman. They'll be like, do you need lip gloss? Like, do you want my tampon? Like, okay, diva, okay, princess, okay, queen. Because those behaviors aren't considered like something men should do. But, they're behaviors that women do. But they're negative behaviors, and women basically call men annoying by calling them women. Do you understand how fucking crazy that is?
It
This
also
is an
reminds
Asian
me of,
lady
like,
speaking.
whenever a man is like being extremely like emotional or acting out of character, and people are like, oh my god, like you're acting like a woman, like you need to man up. Women are not the ones that are driving their vehicles into parades and going into, public spaces with and you know what I'm saying?
With
Women are the ones
guns,
that are
you
doing
mean.
that. Yes, we may cry, we may, throw a thing here or there, but I hate when people use femininity or like womanhood as an insult to men that are misbehaving or being overly emotional in a very stereotypical man way. Because man emotional and woman emotional are very different, okay? So I hate when people use femininity or a woman being a woman as an insult.
So, she doesn't like the fact that womanhood is being used as an insult for men. But the Asian woman is the one that sits up and says it's the women that do this. Women are the main ones. And I replayed that in her video, included it in her video. It's women that use femininity to insult men for doing things that they don't like. And they don't like anything that men actually enjoy. You like video games. I'm neutral about them, but you like video games. Women don't like that. They don't like men that like video games. You like watching sports games. They don't like men that like watching sports games. They don't like men that don't keep up with sports either, because that's also unmanly. So you can't win. But it's the Asian woman that sits up and explains how it's the women that are using their own gender to insult the other gender. And we men, if we want to insult a chick, we will use manliness to insult her, but we don't feel like we can get away with insulting a bunch of women. I mean, if she's good at basketball, we can't insult her about that. If it's an actual skill or talent, we can't insult her about that. She has to behave like a dude before we start doing that, before we start saying something. And most of the time, we may just take her as a buddy. Because we got studs that are buddies. And we'll validate them like one of the homies and still turn around and give them the option of having sex with us should they choose it. Because that's how we've been brainwashed and trained.
Right? But secondly, I hate specifically whenever they associate femininity with light-skinned men, because for one, there is no scientific proof that biologically, if your skin is lighter, you are more feminine or more masculine or vice versa. That just doesn't make any sense, right? But two...
Now, for the record, she is a medium complexion black woman saying this. So, since her shade is about in the middle anyway, I'm not going to say that this is necessarily a shade bias she has. I'm not accusing her actually of being colorist. I'm accusing her of dehumanizing men, especially black men. This is the most sensible thing she said. Ain't no scientific proof that lighter skin comes with more feminine behaviors. That part's true. But what she does not want is to be associated with masculine traits as a black woman. See, amongst black people, her shade is in the middle. Amongst the human species, her shade is on the darker end. She doesn't want, as a black woman, to be stereotyped. And why is it? And plus, she's wearing a white woman's hair as she says this. So what is the reason? We already know, actually, why black women of any shade are sensitive about darker skinned women being compared to more masculinity and more manliness. Why do we take issue with that in general as black folks? Well, one, it is kind of racist to do this to a race of women, unless it's strictly culturally based. Well, because black women in the West do take pride in being tough and loud and aggressive and hard to deal with. Now you got a cultural justification for that. Let's continue on.
My real issue with it is that, let's really break this down into 1, 2, 3 ABC blocks, okay? A lot of people don't like light-skinned men because they feel like they're soft, they're feminine, they're pretty, whatever, right?
Being light-skinned,
Yeah.
what do people think you're soft still? You're a lot younger than us.
Yeah.
But light-skin was soft back in the day. Is it still there?
Yeah, I think, there's always that struggle, introduce me into that world of okay,
I'm just
not
gonna
this,
go ahead.
I'm not white enough, I'm not black enough.
And go past that part. I don't care about
and
that.
innocence, and as seen as less aggressive, less violent, more safe, right? So in this conversation and in this context, when we say these things about light-skinned men, it doesn't stop at the men. It also applies to the women. Because if you look at the way people conversate about black women, light-skinned black women versus dark-skinned black women,
You
right?
got to stop this. Black people, the verb is not conversate, the verb is converse. The noun is conversation. Conversate's not classically a word in English. Language evolves, but let's have language evolve because we choose to change something, not because we don't know what it actually started off as. Whatever our first languages are, let's cut that mess out. Please, my people. Creatively changing something because you want to, like skirt, is being creative in the natural evolution of a language. Saying conversate because you really think that that's the word instead of converse is just English. Let's cut that mess out anyway.
Dark-skinned women are aggressive, they're mean, they're angry, they're violent, right? Same for dark-skinned men. Dark-skinned men, a lot of women say they want darker-skinned men because, they're masculine, they're strong, they'll protect you, they're brute, which is not, again, scientifically proven that because somebody's darker skinned, they're more masculine or more likely to protect you. It just doesn't really make sense.
Now, shout out to AC because he's one of the ones that helped me to, and also to Tierson Johnson. And I'm going to give BGS more credit for this, for helping me see this, and Edward Allen Anderson. For helping me see this through the proper skepticism through which I need to view this. Because while she's speaking now scientific proof and truth, you can't tie skin tone to a natural instinct for behavior. Except maybe sometimes a preference for certain temperatures. Sometimes. Which is a preference more so than a behavior anyway. But since you can't really tie them together scientifically and with proof, which you can't, she's now saying something that is scientifically valid. It's not stupid. Thank you, sis. Here's where I start to get offended again, though, and for good reason. My people, she don't feel a guck about how unfair it is to light-skinned men. Everything circles around how it's going to affect her as a black woman that's not light-skinned. It's all about that. She's not dark, she's in the middle, but she's not light-skinned. So now at this point, and she's got the full African nose and lips and wearing a white woman's hair. So now at this point, we can see the BS behind it. Sounds all academic and intellectual and righteous and woke. It sounds like that, but with the proper skepticism that we have now developed in the black manosphere, we could look at this and say, well, even when telling the truth, what is the reason behind it? And this is why I tell you as black men to always be on the lookout when discussing race or gender, to always be on the lookout for further muckers who are willing to say true statements for false reasons. She's not lying, but why is she saying it? How do you know? By what somebody leaves out when they tell the truth.
Sense. But ironically, although the light skin being soft, feminine, pretty, and dark skin being, aggressive and brute, doesn't stop at the man or the woman, but the way that either one is accepted or perceived is different, right? So for a dark skinned man to be aggressive and strong and brute, that's okay, right? People want that. But for a dark skinned woman, that's an insult. That is seen as a negative. That is a trait that is put on dark skinned women, even if they aren't, like, she can be the most, soft-spoken, feminine, dark skinned black woman.
Now this part here becomes a lie.
People automatically in their brains attribute these qualities to her that just don't make sense based off of her skin tone, right? And her having these same qualities that her dark-skinned male counterpart has is a bad thing, while him having it is a good thing. And same for the men. A man being light-skinned is a bad thing, right? He's feminine, he's soft, he's pretty. A light-skinned woman having those qualities, that's a good thing, right? She's a preference, she's beautiful, she's soft, she's feminine, right? And so the more we perpetuate the idea that lighter-skinned men are soft and feminine, it then also upholds that lighter-skinned women are softer and more feminine, which then...
Now, lighter-skinned women are softer and more feminine. That's not where the insult lies. She's now given a proper analysis. You're about to hear a lie in a bit, though. And the lie is unspoken, but in the black manosphere, we're trained to hear it. I'll continue now.
Darker skinned people, specifically darker skinned women, is like on opposite end of the spectrum, right? As far as light skin goes, the worst light skin you can be is a light skinned man. The worst dark skin you can be is a dark skinned woman, right? It's like the law of polarity. You can't have one without the other, right? And the more you insult light skinned men by calling them feminine and soft, the more you're implying that dark skinned women are aggressive, are harsh, are brute, are violent, right? Are masculine. And we see the jokes, we see the way dark skinned women are masculinized on the internet or used as pawns for entertainment on the internet, or discarded and treated like, less than in real life and on the internet, right? I'm sure if you ask any dark-skinned woman about her experience, it's going to be less than great, right?
I talked about growing up top, now let's talk about growing up dark skin. We were in history class learning about slaves. Probably know where this is going. In the middle of my teacher speaking, a student stands up, unprovoked, goes, Amy's an outdoor slave, I would be an indoor slave. The whole class laughed. I mean, she wasn't wrong, but is that necessary? And also another day, she decided to take a Sharpie and write on my arm. Proceed to ask the whole entire class if you could see a difference.
All right, I'm going to go past that because this is the one speaking now is a darker skinned woman who I'm not of whose parents' nationality I'm not sure anyway. Talking not so much about the experience of bondage itself, but the jokes about being dark skinned that happened at elementary school while she applies makeup to herself. What the cuss word is up with these ladies in these makeup tutorials? See, one thing I love about my religion that people hate is that we actually have a rule against women putting on makeup and going outside trying to get compliments for their looks. We've got rules against, don't do it. The scholars have a different opinion about whether the face veil is mandatory or optional. I'm of the view that it is optional. But putting on makeup and then perfume and even wearing jewelry in places together just so that it makes a sound as you walk. These things that women do to call attention to themselves are categorically forbidden in our faith in the public. It's fine at home with the husband. You ain't supposed to be doing this out in public though. What the fuck is wrong with you if you do? You got problems. That speaks to an insecurity, if anything. That's what the hell that is. So here she is putting on makeup while she wants to talk about her pain. See, I want you to stop and imagine that a man is not even putting on makeup. Just imagine that a man, especially if he's light-skinned, is just brushing his beard, brushing his hair, getting ready for work, while he's talking into a camera about the pain of being a lighter-skinned male and being blamed for stuff he didn't do. Just imagine that. Oh, he's sassy. Unless someone asks him and he's answering a question, automatically that's going to make him sassy. Just like the part past which I skipped when one man, I think was an NBA player, asked another one, yeah, man, for you, growing up, I mean, when I came up, you were soft if you were light-skinned. What about for you coming up? And the man proceeds to say, I was told I was warned by cousins, look, they're going to test you, they're going to try you. Don't let them do that to you. Now, the difference is that in my age group, no one told you they're going to try you because you light-skinned. No one told me that it was because of my phenotype that people were going to try me. I would be told, maybe, well, it's because you're from Concord. Concord was the name of a neighborhood that doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it's because you're from the Huxtables neighborhood. I'd heard that. Well, it's because you went to a private school. Stuff like that. When I was in elementary, I did. I'd be told that sometimes. Nobody would come out and say, yeah, look, man, you light-skinned, straight hair, you look like English is your second language, whatever the hell that means, so you're going to be tested. Nobody said to me they're going to make this decision upon sight. And that's why I was sitting up wondering, why do I get tested when other people don't? It took me until 11th grade. Actually, yeah, it took me until 11th grade to understand that this was the case. And it took me until my last few weeks of my senior year in high school for someone to vocally tell me, you know what? Yeah, that dude was going to test you. That dude the last guy you had a fight with, he did what he did because you light-skinned. And that's why this other cat was willing to argue with you over dumb stuff. And they'd be like, you want to fight about it? You want to fight about it? But what that basketball player was sitting up and saying in a nutshell was that he was told at his age, in his age group, by his cousins, because of your phenotype, because of your white parent, you will be tested. And this is childhood stuff. This ain't in adulthood. He was saying this in answer to a question put to him. This lady is sitting up here, whose voice you just heard, just going through it as she does her makeup. What, you can't stay focused on the point without putting your makeup on?
Because I'm so black. And my teacher didn't do anything. He just sat there and watched her make fun of me for the entirety of that year. When I tell you all of this is unprovoked, I don't even have to say unprovoked.
That is painful. Don't get me wrong. My teacher didn't do anything, and I had to sit up there and deal with this for the rest of, no, don't excuse me. That was actually a pretty good one. I had to sit up here and deal with this for the rest of the year. Okay, here's where it gets funny. Now, that was painful. That actually was. Imagine you're a man voluntarily telling people about this without being asked while you're just getting ready for work. Just normal male grooming. What kind of bitch would you be called for talking about this as you are an adult? This is an adult putting on makeup, talking about what you went through as a kid, and we're supposed to sympathize. That's what a double standard is, and that's a double standard worth fighting. No, shuck this fit. Men and women might be different, but are we equal or not?
Or like, I was standing, waiting for the bus, and this guy in my class came up to me. He was like, so black guy, you look purple. You're blurple. That was not enough at the time.
Blurple. You know what? I'm gonna tell you now. If this dude said this, you're blurple, because I'm the one I'm the first person I ever heard say the word blurple out loud. I myself am the first one I heard say that. And I said it over a decade ago. This means that somebody heard me and paid her a compliment. That's what the fuck that means. Blurple. Blue, black, purple. Because I was the one lazy enough to put them all together. I heard Omar Johnson say blue, black, purple as a compliment to somebody. And I made it blurple. That was actually the name of my Wi-Fi for a while. Blurple. I used to use it as a password for some of my accounts. Not anymore. Go ahead and try to hack if you want. That was me. So if somebody called her blurple, that means her childhood was within the last decade, and someone heard me and called it that as a compliment, and she thought it was a damn insult. Okay, yeah, he was dark skinned, so that means it was a compliment.
Got their phones, rushed towards my direction, turn on the flashlight and say, where's Amy? Where's Amy? Anyways, those group of guys came up.
Okay, they rush towards her with a flashlight after they turn the lights out. Where's Amy? Okay, now, that's humor. Here's the thing, do you have to have a thick skin as a kid or not? Can a man complain about this or not? These are jokes, actually. I'm not saying they were right, but they were jokes. This is not hateful stuff. She could have cracked back at them. Instead, she chooses to vent about this as an adult while she applies makeup so she can get men's attention.
I've lived in hell until I went to college. Just harassing me for being dark skinned. Colorism beginning real creative. Blur pole, blacky darky.
Men you'll ever see because she's a black woman with black
Let me go
features,
back.
right? She's super strong, absolutely, but she also has a very feminine air about her.
She's not talking about Serena Williams. Here's where the lie comes in.
Her hair, her makeup, etc. But because she's darker skinned with broader features, she gets masculinized. Or Michelle Obama is literally one of the classiest, softest women you'll ever see. But because she's a black woman with black features, right? She's masculinized and compared to monkeys, right? And ironically, even though when you insult one, right, you insult light skinned men, you therefore also insult dark skinned women. I feel like the repercussions of the insults are worse. Even though, like I said, on either end of the spectrum, they're both the worst to be, right? I would argue a man being called soft and feminine and a pretty boy is a little less aggressive and harsh than a dark.
A man being called soft, pretty, and a soft, feminine, and a pretty boy is a little bit less aggressive. For the nuck, it's not, actually. No. Because when you call a man less than a man, the next step is violence. To what can that escalate other than violence? That is the last thing that a man can be called before the next step is violence. There are two things that signal danger to men: being called unmanly openly in front of people and being interrupted every single time you start to say something. These things signal violence to men. The second one, being interrupted all the time, is what escalates to violence for men or women. I mean, if I was a police officer and someone argues with me, the point where they interrupt me is the point where I myself would become the cop that loses his badge because of violence. White, black, Chinese, I don't give a guck. You interrupted me because I'm telling you I'm responding to a phone call? This may or may not be what the caller said, but right now I'm just responding to the phone call. And you're interrupting. Okay, you know what? I'm breaking your window. I'm yanking you out the car. If I put your hands behind your back and you stiffen your arm up, I'm blowing your mother cuss word brains out. F you and whoever loves you. It's not because you had a difference of opinion, but hell, every time I'm telling you what I'm supposed to tell you as part of my job and you won't let me finish. Yep, death. That's why I didn't become a cop. I would have been one of the corrupt ones, not for racial reasons, but because people are stupid. And the people to whom you must go and see when you get phone calls are the dumbest. But getting back to this point, she's now sitting up talking about Serena Williams is masculinizing Michelle Obama, despite their femininity. Yeah, they are masculinized and called all kind of men and monkeys by white men. Shout out to Edward Allen Anderson for being the first one to tell me that stuff. I suspected it, but he articulated it for us years ago and confirmed that I wasn't crazy. Thank you, Brother Anderson. Reverend Brother Pastor Deacon Dr. Hurricane Edward Allen Anderson of the New Greater Zion Valley Precious Lamb. Oh Lord, hold my mule while I shout this anti-misandrous black masculinist truth from the mountaintop tabernacle in the hillside in the morning time out in the country temple of we don't take no crap off these lying ass hoes incorporated. Yeah, they called all kind of men and monkeys. It was white dudes sat up and said that the Williams sisters look like some boys you would see on National Geographic. We ain't say that. She got in a hurry to get pregnant by that white boy without a marriage, before the marriage, to prove that she's in fact a born woman. She could have done that with her brother, but no, that would have been giving her brother too much sexual relief. She was dating brothers and wouldn't give up the box because of her religious beliefs. And if she had been consistent, I would have said, well, that's her religion. Jehovah's Witness, don't fornicate. But this is why I get on women about fake chastity. When a woman is serious about chastity, i.e. like when a Muslim woman is serious about it. This is what a Muslim woman does when she's serious about chastity. She prioritizes marriage first of all. That's the first thing she does. And she is consistent about not fornicating across the board. Fake chastity is when you throw your religion up as a reason to deny the box because you don't want to smash somebody. Then you meet the guy you want to screw, and you just go ahead and screw them regardless of the religious rules. And then you don't even hide it. She wasn't even embarrassed enough to hide it. I'm pregnant and I'm getting married. Bitch, what if he had decided, wait, you pregnant? I'm not trying to get married. What if he had decided that? That's that fake chastity. We black men never masculinized her. A white cartoonist did, and this woman, Irie Says Stuff, is about to go and mention a white cartoonist cartoon of Serena Williams. Y'all saw the cartoon where she's stomping up and down on her tennis racket. And somebody's saying, can't we just let her win? Man, shuck that fit. That wasn't a black cartoonist that wrote that, that drew that, that designed that. Michelle Obama was called all kinds of men and apes by white men. That's why she don't like white men now. Some people that are in her circle have said, yeah, Michelle Obama actually don't like white men like that. Because they were the ones that masculinized. It wasn't no black men. Black men said, we got the finest woman in the White House, period. Look at that booty. Look at them legs. Cat Williams said, you walk up on her in person and you know she smells like hair lotion and cocoa butter. Just look at that. Look at all that glorious black woman ass. That was Cat Williams, as he understands it, glorifying her. And brothers and sisters were clapping. Her masculinization from black men only came after she started diminutizing the former president of the United States of America by saying that she felt like a single mom. F out of here. That's why I don't cast black men out for being of other nationalities. He did what black American men were supposed to be doing, trying to take care of a family and provide for them. Now, he ain't my hero. He ain't black enough or Muslim enough to be my hero. But my grievances aren't the grievances of the ones that Michelle Obama voiced. So who really demonized and masculinized Michelle Obama because of her skin tone? Nope. White men did it because of her blackness and a high profile. See where this is going? Sick of this.
Skin woman being called a monkey or being called a man, being called aggressive and being treated as such, because whenever somebody automatically views you as a threat, as an aggressor, as a danger, you are treated as such off rip without real reason for it, you know? If somebody views you as soft and feminine, it's like, oh, whatever, like he's soft, like we don't worry about him. But if somebody sees a dark-skinned woman and automatically assumes that she's angry and aggressive, then a lot of people would be on guard with her and nitpick any little things that she does, whether it's the way she wears her hair, the way she acts, if she has the nerve to get upset in a justified situation. Like, although they're both harsh, one of them kind of gets the shorter end of the stick. I know a lot of people are going to say, like, it's not that deep, it's not that serious. And maybe for some people, when they make these jokes or these comments or talk about their preferences, maybe in their minds, it truly isn't that deep, right? But for me, I feel like it is important for us to really explore the things that we say, the things that we talk about, and the things that we feel, and especially when it comes to our preferences, right? When you say, oh, I would never date a light-skinned man because of X, Y, and Z, I really want to implore you to explore deeper and really dig beneath the surface, right? Not just, oh, like, it's just my preference. Okay, yes, it is your preference, but why? And I feel like when you start kind of prodding in that way, it makes people uncomfortable because they kind of have to like contend with like, ooh, maybe this is a little bit problematic, or maybe, you know, I am wrong, or maybe like I don't necessarily want to say it out loud because I know people may look at me sideways, right? But when you start prodding on those preferences, why do you prefer dark-skinned men? Why are you so against dating a light-skinned man? Oh, well, you know, dark-skinned men, you know, they just protect you better. Well, how? They're stronger. Okay, I didn't know that having darker skin meant that you were born with muscles and a six-pack and you're stronger than, you know, the guy that's the same weight as you, the same height as you, and works out the same amount of times a week as you, and, you know, lifts the same amount of weight as you, but because his skin is about 4 shades lighter, you're stronger than him. No, that's how it worked. Or when they just say light-skinned men are feminine. Okay, what about them is feminine? And also, you're telling me that the qualities you're saying in light-skinned men that are feminine have never been displayed in a dark-skinned man? When you say that men are getting sassy these days, you're saying it's only light-skinned men that are sassy, and you've never seen a dark-skinned man say some sassy stuff or be sassy towards women? Your intrinsic personality is not based on your skin tone. Are there external factors that, based on your skin tone, can affect your personality? Sure. If you're a lighter-skinned person that's been treated differently your entire life, maybe that may give you like an ego boost or have you maybe have a little bit of arrogance. If you're a darker-skinned person that's been treated poorly,
See, now she's saying, she's going straight to the stereotype. If you're a light-skinned person that's been treated differently, wait a minute, hold up. See, as a lighter-skinned black man, didn't she just say that if you're a lighter-skinned black man, you might not be treated better or even equally? Didn't she just say that? Because I know about that. There are times when adults trusted me more. There are times when that has happened. I understand that there are times when you might come across what people perceive to be a privilege. That only happens with some older black adults that have that internalized. Only. And every time that happens, you pay dearly for it. If a teacher punishes you less or whatever the case is, which is not normal actually, but if it appears to happen, your classmates are going to kick your ass 5 times for that one perceived instance, if it's real or not. That's when you're growing up. Now, why do I mention that childhood when I'm an adult? Well, because that pattern does continue. If I go to work and I do something wrong and the boss handles my error as an honest mistake, but someone darker than me caught all kinds of crap for it, then my colleagues, the women, not so much the men, but the women are going to blame me as if I somehow flashed my light skin to get a more lenient treatment. Like I set the whole thing up. Wouldn't even go after the white boss that did it or the black woman that did that. No, they would go after my black ass. He think he better because he got away with this. No, I don't think I'm better. Hell, I didn't even know about a harsher penalty that somebody else went through for it. Because I just got here, I just started. So she's talking about if you're dark skinned and you get treated badly, then you might have a harder exterior and be more cynical. That's the next thing she's about to go into. And you know what? That would be true. But that would be true in both ways because with black folks, you don't grow up getting treated better as a whole, as a collective by the community, whether you are lighter or darker than the average, because black people punish black folks for anything that we don't suffer. We punish each other for anything. If your ears are too big or too small, if your hair is too soft, or if it is too kinky and curly and it looks like ground up taco meat on the top of a Khoisan person's head, you're gonna catch it. If your lips are too big or too small, you're gonna catch it. If your butt is too big or too small, you're gonna catch it. We roast everybody for everything that's noticeable. So if you are lighter skinned, the times you are treated better by someone are going to be overshadowed vastly by those who seek to make you pay for those times. And this is where it is that nobody really gets an easy break in the black community. Or the black population, I should say. The difference is that the ones who really make you pay do differentiate themselves by gender. See, the men that grow up making you pay for this, as the men get older and become adults, they got to stop with the childish BS. They're called sassy if they don't. We're called sassy if we don't. It would call childish at the very least. The women, because they're not forced to grow the up. socially, don't grow to UCFUP, so they stay in that childish, colorist, obsessive mindset until they are old AF. Till they're old enough to owe Moses money. Alayhi salam. They stay childish.
Entire life, maybe that can harden you and make you seem a bit more aggressive and more angry.
See?
But is that a learned behavior or is it genetic, right? Is this nature or is this nurture? And I would argue that is nurture, right? Our environments do shape our personalities, but being born with a certain skin tone doesn't determine if you're feminine or masculine or anything in between, right? It's just a skin tone. And the more we perpetuate these ideas, the more we continue to hold our community back from really progressing in a positive way, right? This conversation is just, again, another angle at which Black people are constantly having to just fight for basic decency and respect from one another, along with the outside world, right? And again, I know people are going to say it's not that deep, but it really is that deep if you just take 2 seconds to think about it. But yeah, this is just a rant. I know I typically have more structured videos, but this week I just kind of wanted to rant about some stuff, you know, because I didn't want to skip a week posting. But yeah, what do you guys think about this topic? I would love to hear your opinion in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And oh yeah, I can't forget to say thank you guys for getting me to 9,000 subscribers, okay? Genuinely, that means the absolute world to me. I've been fighting tooth and nail to try to hit that 10K mark, so please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It would genuinely mean the world to me, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
All right, so y'all heard that. LBRY said stuff. And you heard how the truth can be told for false reasons. You just got through listening to a lot of that just now. She didn't tell lies openly, except one that she may not know or remember is a lie. She did not say something that was objectively untrue, except for what she said about the masculinization of Michelle Obama and Serena Williams. And she may not even have remembered. It's stupid to not remember. But if she really didn't remember who did that and who didn't at the time, then that's a memory failure, which is still caused by misandry. Anti-Black misandry at that. But I want you gentlemen to stop and think about this too. Those of you that are listening here in the Black manosphere. I want you guys to remember as best you can that you are the one whose relief is considered to be a crime. The lack of persecution of you is considered to be wrong. The lack of suffering of you is considered to be wrong. White women have taken on this mindset when it comes down to white men as well. So we understand now that in the West, there's just this pattern of women in general having issue with their men not suffering, their men being happy. They see a man's joy or happiness as being a sign that something is being neglected. That's their view. It's wrong, but that is their view. It's wrong, but they really think it. It's wrong, but they really believe that. So this is going on in the minds of the Arab woman. This is going on in the mind of the Black woman. This is going on, and I'm talking about within the West. This is going on in the mind of the white woman. Each one towards their own men. Most pronouncedly the white and the Black women. So when I tell you all to leave alone Becky, this is where AC is going to probably hate me. But I'm going to clarify this. I mean, if he knew I existed, he probably would. But I'm going to clarify this. You leave alone sisters for reasons we already know. We know what these reasons are. You can listen to AC to find out what they are. We leave alone Becky because, I mean, we should leave Becky alone because Becky is really on the same type of time like Dave Chappelle said. She was in on the heist. She just doesn't like her cut. And I can understand why she wouldn't. However, she was still in on the heist. What Becky got was not earned. What Becky got was, for the most part, taken away again and again and again from someone else, and then handed to her as a prize for her man just taking and getting away with it. Becky knows that. That's it's no news. Becky understands. But also, you got to keep in mind too that both of these women look at what men don't suffer as a problem. It's not, they're not looking at what men choose to do wrong as a problem only. They're looking at what men do not suffer as also being a problem. And this is why you must look at these women and understand the danger they pose. They believe that you must suffer, and LBRY is no different. I can hear this one video from her, and I can tell that I don't know how aware she is of it, but I know she got it. I do not know if she's aware of her misandry, but I know she has some of this misandry. I know she's got it. At least subconsciously, I know it's there, because she sat up here and pointed the finger at black folks for something and then used examples of what white men did to prove a case. Even if she didn't know it, she had to have remembered that it was white men that masculinized the Williams sisters. That Michelle Obama masculinized herself, and it was white folks that compared her to apes and monkeys. And yes, looking at these sacrifices of your husband and ignoring them or dismissing them or downplaying them or diminutizing them when you would have demanded all sorts of credit and praise and aggrandizement if you had made the same sacrifices, is in fact demasculation, and it is masculinization of the self. I could have done a better job of that than him. Really, bitch? Really? See, women don't understand what the hell money is. That's why I'm all for women being forced to a certain extent, not because I don't care about my religion. In my religion, women don't have to work, but since women will demand more than just the same pay for the same job, since women will demand money, I'm like, well, then you get this, you should be forced to have the equal opportunity to get your butt out there and earn that equal money. Same money for the same work. We agree on this, but this is what you should be forced to do. Here's where the force comes in. You should definitely have to get your butt out there and do exactly whatever job you think that a woman should never have to do. Absolutely. That should be what you're forced to do. What job do you think that a woman should never have to do? War? Get your butt out there and fight that war. Mining? Get down there in that coal mine. And don't come up without a quota of coal that the men have had coming out working in the same mine either. That's why, and see, the white woman is the same way with her man. Now, the white woman is hard pressed to find and invent stuff that her man actually, collectively speaking, did not do to other people. But understand that white woman still thinks that it is the man's job to sit there and suffer. Like the lack of suffering is some kind of crime. How dare this ninja not suffer this, that, and the other and all that. It's like that's what makes them upset. And it has nothing to do. They know what the hell their men did collectively, but individually speaking, even when the man ain't done a mother cuss word thing to them, when that man individually had no part to play in anybody else's suffering, We would simply look and say, well, I mean, he might be racist, he might not, I don't know, but I'm not going to walk around, bash his head in for what his granddad might have done. That's how we tend to view it. That white woman's like, oh, I know what his granddad did. Yeah, I know about his granddad. I could find out about that. I just think he should suffer because he's a guy. But I'm going to be more disrespectful towards him because he's white and I can get away with that. That's why. And that's why I tell you to avoid the misandrous Sistren and the misandrous Becky. AC may hate me for that, but I would say to you that you must look at really any Western woman of any origins, attitude towards the men of the same origin. You must look at that as a sign of what they would be willing to do to you if they could get away with it and not be called a racist. The minute that they can defend themselves from accusations of being a racist rat bitch and do some of these things to you, the minute is the same minute in which they're going to do them to you. And that's why I'm telling you guys to avoid them both. And then when you come across that westernized Westernisha who's a Latina or who's of Asian origin, don't make a bit of difference. If she was raised in the West, she got that Western materialist mindset, you must understand that as soon as she can get away with doing something to you and not be called a racist, it's your ass, Mr. Postman. Keep that in mind, please. Because you just sat up here and heard a sister sit up and tell you, to hell with she left out what the men are going through because it doesn't matter to her. It doesn't sound like it at first glance, but every time she talked about how bad it was, it got to be, well, it's bad, not because of because of how unfair it is to the men. It's bad because it leads to or goes hand in hand with the masculinization of Black women. Well, if you believe that today's men are so sassy in 9AY, then wouldn't you want to be masculinized, to have a shot with these men? Oh, you don't want the gender roles reversed for real like that. That's just your feminist rhetoric. Gotcha. Okay. Your misandrist rhetoric. Okay, gotcha. Leave alone all these broads. And that's why I'm telling you this. When I'm saying, well, because you could easily listen to her and say, wait, hold up. Jet, what the hell does that have to do with why we should leave Becky alone? What I'm saying is, what this shows you is leave alone everybody who cannot see you as a human being, either because you are a man or because you are Black, especially if it is because you are a Black man. Or because you're hetero. Leave all of them alone. And that's the Western woman, white, Black, and really any other westernized woman. Ali Wong, anyone. She ain't white, she ain't Black. But Ali Wong is oh my God. She's out there, she's talking about, I could just get ding-a-ling down. I mean, you broke up a family to do it. She gave up her family and her husband to go out there and be in them streets. My husband and I are like best friends now. Yeah, because he's raising the kids while you get out there and be a hoe and talk about it on stage. My mother doesn't understand. Of course she doesn't understand. She wasn't raised in a context in which that sort of thing is okay. Women that did what the hell you did with nasty bitches. They didn't get husbands. And that's why I'm telling you, stay away from Becky and away from the Sistren. And away from any other broads that want to be like them, because in the end, they're either going to hate Black folks or they're going to hate men, and you are both. That's why I say it. You just heard it. This woman, Iry's not capable of fibbing a guck what darker skinned men or lighter skinned Black men go through because of it being wrong. She doesn't think darker skinned Black men go through anything. Really? Yeah, they go through stuff. It may take longer to detect it. On a reptilian brain level, it may take that. But they go through stuff. She just doesn't fivagog. She'll say that they don't go through anything except being considered to be super masculine, which is a compliment. She'll say everything they go through is an honor. It's a compliment. It may seem like that on the surface, shallow level. Guess what, though? After a while, because men are human, we may decide that, you know what? We want to actually be in a human relationship with a human adult woman. And we can't have that because they can't see past the skin tone. You're irresponsible. That's your job. Your job is to be the irresponsible ding-a-ling. So on one hand, it's sex without the attachment and well, you don't really get that. You never get that. But it's on one hand, it's like sex without all of the responsibilities being heaped upon you. But they're still gonna blame you if you don't meet them. If you're lighter skinned, well, she'd already talked about what you're gonna go through. But that don't mean nothing. It's only a problem because it's going to mean that the darker skinned black woman has to go through something, which really, when she's really saying is every black woman that's not light skinned, including her, has to go through something. And that's pretty much the white men won't want us because they're going to view us as other men. Wait a minute. If you stereotyping light skinned guys for being gay because of their white blood, then why don't you just stereotype white guys as being 9AY and then assume that maybe that's what they'll want? Oh, you don't stereotype them like that. And that's how you know all of this is foolishness, and she's not exempt from that. She's not capable of understanding how bad it is on its own basis. Because it's wrong, period. She can only understand it from the point of, well, see, this is why black women should also be concerned about it. Because if it don't affect black women, but it affects black men, it still don't mean nothing to them. That's what's underlying. That's what's in her subconscious mind or her conscious mind. And that is for what many women are going to give her credit. Girl, that's right. Screw them ninjas. What does it got to do with us? Okay. That again is the hive mind, and she knows it. Subconsciously, at least, she knows she's following the hive mind. This is what you're dealing with. It's a religion. White supremacy is a religion. And what I'm coming to understand is that anti-black misandry is one of the major tenets of that religion. So much so that it might be confused with being the whole religion itself. I'm not going to go too much long. I've already taken almost an hour and 10 minutes, and I really do appreciate you all listening. If you are in the lounge hearing this, you were the ones to get first access to this because you paid for it. And I really do hope it helps. If you were hearing this on YouTube or on Odyssey, then know that those in the lounge, first and business classes, had access to this anywhere between 8 to 12 hours before you did. So it's worth it to get your butt to that lounge. And I want to thank you all for flying with us. First, thanks for listening. I really do hope this helps, and share this with somebody with whom you know could benefit from this. And thank you for flying with us again here on Jet Black Air, where the phrase jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us till the wings and the wheels fall off. As always, gender, justice, forever. And shout out to Senor Kanga and Abdullah bin Bobby and Bilal Gadzekpo and Abu Thalatha Abdul Malik, Don Calypso, Edward Allen Anderson, BGS Ipmore, and Guy Incognito, even though you two at each other's throats. Shout out to both of you for the support you've granted me. And speaking of which, I see valid points coming out of both of you. But in order for me to actually take a decisive stand on your disagreement, I would only do that if it's a discussion that the three of us have first, without anybody else. But that's another topic for another day and another recording. So shouts out to you all for that support. Shouts out to D. Smith for backing me up like you have. Shouts out to everyone that has come through on Cash App at all. And when we dock at the gate, go ahead and press that Cash App button on the way out, even if it's just for $1. I just want to see if it reached anyone. As always, gender justice forever. Till next time.
Now, there will be darkness. I pray that the ancestors will preserve and protect our tribe and safeguard the past as it was.
Nothing will be as it was ever again. Now, kill him.